Welcome to Boldeck e-learning. In today's video, we will explain the if function in Excel, which is one of the most used functions. The if function is one of the logical functions in Excel. Let's start first with the syntax. This function takes three arguments. Two of them are mandatory and one of them is optional. So the first argument is the logical test, and it is the condition that we need to test. The second argument is the value that we want to return if the result of the test is true, while the third argument is the value that we want to return if the result of the test is false. In order to make it easier to explain, we have set up an example with four cases. So the first case is the easiest case, and it has two criteria. If my sales are less than 3,000, we will output low, while if the sales are higher than 3,000, we will output a good. So let's visualize how the if function works with these criteria. So we have the logical test if the sales are less than 3,000, and if the result is true, we will have an output of low, while if the result is false, we will have an output of good. Okay, so let's write that in a formula. So it is equal to if, press tab, my logical test, if the cell is less than or equal to this value here, so that in case I need to change the criteria, I don't have to go back to the formula. And let's fix that using the F4, comma. What would be the value if the sales are less than 3,000? It's low. Let's fix that also, comma. And if it is false, it means that my sales are higher than 3,000. We will output good. And let's fix that also. Close the parentheses and press enter. So that's good because 3,100 is higher than 3,000. Let's autofill. And we have a low and a low because 2,500 and 2,000 both are less than 3,000. Now let's go to the second case. In the second case, we have three criteria. So we have if the sales are less or equal than 3,000, we will have to output low. If the sales are higher or equal than 8,000, we will output high. And if the sales value is in between these two values, we will have to output medium. So in order to do that, we will use nested if functions. Let's visualize that. So we will start first with our first test if it is less or equal than 3,000. If that's true, we will output low, while if that's false, we will go to our second if function if it is higher or equal than 8,000. If that's true, we will output high. If that's false, it means that our value is neither less than 3,000 nor higher than 8,000, so it means it's in between, and we will output medium. Let's write that in a formula. So it is equal to if, let's open parentheses, my logical test is as follows. First of all, we will have to check if it is less than or equal to 3,000. And let's fix that. So if that's true, we will output low. Right? And if that's false, we will go into a new if function. Now my test will be if that value is less than or equal to 8,000, or this value. Let's fix this one. What would be my output if that's true? So if it is, it should be higher than or equal to 8,000. So if that's true, my output will be high. Else, so if it is neither higher than 8,000 nor less than 3,000, we will output medium. And let's close parentheses for the second if, close parentheses for the first if, and press enter. And autofill. And as you can see, that's medium because 3,000 is in between. That's low because it is less than 3,000. And that's high because it is higher than 8,000. Now let's go to the third case. In the third case, we have to join two criteria together. So we have to check if both of these criteria are true, and then we will return an output. So first of all, we will have to check if our sales are less than 3,000, and then we will check if our joining year is less than 2018, and if both of these are true, we will output poor. So to do that, we will learn about the AND function, and we will see that while we write the formula. So it is equal to if, okay, and my logical test will be using the AND function. So my first logical test is if the sales are less than 3,000, okay, and my second logical case is if the joining date year is less than 2018. To do that, we will use the year function, which will give me the year of this date, okay, and it should be less than 2018, or the value in this cell. Okay, let's close the parentheses for the AND function. So let's recap how the AND function works. So if both of these logical tests, that's the first one, and that is the second one. So if both of them are true, it will return true. If any of them is false, it will return a false. So if the AND function returns a true result, we will have to output poor. While if it returns a false result, we will keep the cell empty. And let's close parentheses and let's press enter. Let's autofill now. And we only have one poor performance by Jane. Well, why? Jane has sales less than 3,000, right? And she joined before 2018, which is 2017. Let's try changing the criteria so that we can see other results. For example, let's use 5,000. Let's press enter. Now we have three poor performance. Let's check one of them. For example, Janine, she joined on 2002, so it is less than 2018, and she has sales less than 9,000, which is 5,000. Okay. Now let's go to the fourth case, which is the most complex between these four cases. So in this case, we will learn how to work with logical tests in a different manner. Okay, we will write the formula first, and then I will explain it before giving or writing the outputs. Okay, first of all, let's see the criteria. So we want to include our salesman in a contest if two or more of these criteria are met. So first criteria is if the joining year is less than 2016, so it means that guy joined before 2016. The second criteria is if the region is equal to north or south, so it means that guy or that salesperson covers north or south. And the last criteria is if the sales are higher than 5,000. Okay, let's start first by writing the formula, and I will explain as we go. So the logical test will be based on three tests. First of all, we have the joining year. I will put each and every test in a parenthesis. Okay, let's open parentheses for the first test. So my joining year, we have to put the year. So it is using the function year, open parentheses, select the joining date, close parentheses, is less than 2016. I will write the criteria here so that you can understand the function easier, or the formula easier. Okay, so if the year of the joining date is less than 2016, that is my first criteria. Let's close parentheses. I will add a plus sign, open parentheses for my second criteria, which is if the region is north or south. So it is or. So it's either or. Okay, I will use the or function now. We used the AND function before. Now we will use the or function. It means if any of these tests inside the or function is true, it will return true. While if all of them are false, it will return false. Okay, so my first test inside the or function is if the region, so it is the region is equal to, let's write north, okay, or, so my second test is if the region is equal to south. Let's close parentheses for the or, close parentheses for the second criteria, And now let's add the plus sign and put the third criteria, which is if the sales are higher than 5,000. We'll select sales higher than 5,000. And let's close parentheses for the third criteria, and let's put bigger or equal to 2. Let's explain that. So the if function will take each and every one of these criteria or logical tests and will give us an output. If the output is true, it means it's equal to 1. If the output is false, it means it is 0. So the sum of all of these logical tests will go between 0 and 3. So if it is 0, it means none of these tests is true. If it's 1, it means one of them is true. If it's 2, it means two of them is true. And if 3, it means all of them are true. So we specified that if it is higher or equal than 2, it means that it is true. So if that's true, we will output include, right? And if that's false, it means it is less than 2, we will output exclude. Let's close parentheses for the f function and let's press enter. And we have a mistake. What's our mistake? Let's double check our formula. Okay, whoops, we have a minus instead of the equal. Okay, let's select that, press equal, press enter, and John is excluded from our contest. Let's autofill. Well, we have 3 excluded and 3 included. Okay, let's check one of them to understand how the formula works. Let's check James, for example. That guy joined on 2016, so that is a 0. Why? Because we have less than 2016, not less than or equal to 2016. Okay, so that's a 0. Then he is covering the south region. That means that's a true, so that's 1. And his sales are higher than 5,000. That means that's another 1. So the sum for James is 2. So he is included. Let's check one of the excluded. Let's check Jane, for example. She joined after 2016, so that means that's a 0. She covers the west region, that's another 0. And the sales are less than 5,000, that's a third 0. So the sum for Jane is zeros. That's why she is included. That's the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or if you feel anything is complicated, ask us in the comment and we will respond as soon as possible. If you need more explanations, tell us. We will make another video about it to explain it more. If you liked the video, please press the like button. And as always, thank you and take care.